Hello YouTube, this is Travis Dunn with MDL, and this is my vlog for January 16th, 2016. Doing things a little bit different today. I've been kind of procrastinating doing a video, mostly because right now my shooting room is a complete disaster. I'll talk about that in just a bit. So I pulled the laptop out, so I apologize for the video quality. It's not as good as what it normally is, but we'll roll through it. So this video is kind of the death, life, and the pursuit of happiness. And I know those are not normally put in that order, but I kind of had a reason for that. So first we'll start off with death. Last week I mentioned that my aunt passed away. We finally laid her to rest on Saturday, and she was cremated. So it wasn't a big funeral. It was just a gravesite ceremony. Got to see several aunts and uncles that I haven't seen in many years. To be honest, most of them didn't recognize me or my brother, and so it was kind of nice to catch up a little bit with them and see how they were doing and whatnot. There's been a lot of famous deaths this week. Alan Rickman, famous for playing a character in Harry Potter. He played the robot in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. He played a character in Dogma, Galaxy Quest, and probably his next most famous character. He played one of the bad guys in one of the Die Hard movies with Bruce Willis. And then we had David Bowie, also did acting, but more well known probably for his singing. Both of them, age of 69, both of them died of cancer. And that seems also to be kind of a theme for this week. Celine Dion, apparently her husband and brother passed away. I believe both of those were also cancer related. I'm not the biggest Celine Dion fan, but from a personal standpoint, that's a lot of loss to deal with in 1 week. And literally like 2 days from each other. So, in the middle of planning the one for her husband and then her brother passing away. I don't wish that on some of the most nasty people on the planet, but I just, like I said, seems to be, and there's been other deaths, but those are the ones that kind of stand out at me. But in the same boat, it kind of makes you sit back and think about where you're at in life, and think about what you've done and what you haven't done, and that's an evaluation that I've been having for quite a bit here in the last few weeks. And but in the same boat, they say there's only two guarantees in life: death and taxes. And life is short, and life is not guaranteed. And the mark you leave on this earth is what you got. And sometimes that mark is with the people that you surround yourself with, and sometimes you're lucky enough to affect the world. And so it's one of those things you should really think about how you treat people, and how the kind of people you circle yourself with. And but like I said, the philosopher's discussion, if you will. So I'll talk about life a little bit and what's been going on. I left the last video a bit short. There were a couple things I kind of left out. I had mentioned that I had put my car in the shop in my video towards the end of the year. So I ended up having it was supposed to be, I thought it was just an oil leak from the oil pan. It ended up being the oil pan gasket, the timing cover gasket, and they ended up replacing the water pump. And then I had to take it back a few days later. In fact, at that point I had barely even driven it. But I had to take it back a few days later because the thermostat housing wasn't tightened down right or correct, and it was spewing all over the place. So yeah, that's one of those crazy things, and I got a bad feeling that I'm gonna end up putting it in the shop for the transmission. It's starting to do a kind of a notorious whine that particular car does. And I think back of whether or not I made the right decision on that car. I like the car. There's some things I would like to change. No car is ever perfect, and even my most favorite car, my RX-7, I still think about some of the things that drove me nuts about it. But in the same boat, it's one of those things that right now I'm going to have to kind of deal with it. It's still technically under powertrain warranty, so all those repairs were made under warranty. But like I said, I have a feeling that that may be the next repair that happens here before too long. Um, it's so crazy. I had managed to finish playing Far Cry 3. It's a game that's been on my Steam collection for a while. I just hadn't got around to finishing it, and I finally played through the Christmas season. I finally played through it, got it done. That is an acid trip. That game is just kind of a little bit strange. Kind of bear with me. I'm still a little sick, so I may have to take a few drinks here and there. But overall, it was a good game. It's a long game. I had lots of hours into that one. It did get a little monotonous after a while. It's kind of like the Assassin's Creed games. There are parts of it that are a lot of fun. There's some parts that are not so fun, and there are some monotonous things that you have to do to progress through the story. And but overall, it was a pretty good game. I'll eventually pick up Far Cry 4 and play through it, but it'll probably be like the same way. I'll pick it up on the Steam sale. It'll sit in my library for a while, and then I'll get around to it. I mentioned about my power supply on the computer, and I finally got it back after the first of the year. I started playing Fallout 4. So far, I've really been enjoying Fallout 4. But the lack of ammo is very frustrating in the game. And I finally found that the kind of console hacks on it. So I've kind of been cheating. I'm pretty much going to cheat the rest of the way through the game just to have fun with it. And for me, Fallout 4 is more about the adventure somewhat than doing all the because for me, doing all the grinding as far as collecting and storing, that is so boring. It's just me. I cheated. My character's like level 500 now, and I have all the stats pretty much maxed out and all that. So I can go onto the wasteland and start kicking ass. That's what I want to do. I want to go in the wasteland and be a badass. Speaking of power supplies, I had failure number 3 this past week. I've used Corsair products in the past. I've built other machines for other people with Corsair products. Normally, they're great products. This particular power supply is a piece of shit. I think I've returned one power supply once to a store. I have never RMA'd a power supply 3 times. I've never RMA'd a power supply once. Now having to do it for a 3rd time, I'm getting a little frustrated with it. I bought this particular power supply. It's a refurbished, but I bought this particular power supply to add a little more power to my machine. Last year I knew I was getting a GTX 960. There was a given. I was getting it, and both for the possibility of maybe adding another GTX 960 in the future, plus with the fact that I knew that my current my GTX 560 Ti 448 was a huge power hog. I knew that my son's machine had to have a better power supply. So I figured I'll upgrade mine, give me the option for an SLI, and put the other power supply in his. So right now, literally the power supply is sitting on top of my machine, hooked up and running everything. Because his machine doesn't get played a lot. Right now he's grounded, but it's typical. So I didn't want to have it down for another couple more weeks. So probably on Monday, gonna go send that power supply out again. They didn't give me a free return sticker on this one. I wish I had. I think it's kind of crap on their part. But I'm gonna have to ship that one out again back to Corsair. So speaking of money, found out this week. Last couple of years, we've been paying to the city of Columbus 0.5% because we technically live in Columbus, and that's what we were told from our tax person. We live in Columbus. We have to pay the extra 5% because they didn't take it out because we work in Grove City. So in the process at work, we've tried to get that extra 5% taken out so we wouldn't have to do that next year. Well, I found out in the course of that, they said, well, you don't have to pay it. You don't actually live in the Columbus. You have a Columbus address, but you don't live in Columbus. So I even looked it up online. Sure enough, my address comes out and says, nope, you don't live in Columbus. And I called them up and they said, nope, you don't live in Columbus. You didn't have to pay. And they went back and said, well, you can file amended returns and you can get your money back for the last 2 years. So I got about $600 or so coming back to me. Hopefully here before too long. I still have to fill that paperwork out and get it sent in. But thank goodness I don't have to pay that this year at all. That's great. That's an extra 0.5% in my pocket. That was a very frustrating thing to have to do to get your money back from the federal government, only to pay the city government. For something that you didn't get any advantage of. And what I mean by that is when they increased from 2% to 2.5%, some of that was specifically for city services like trash and stuff like that. I have to pay for that separately. And to be honest, I really wish we were on Columbus, because their trash and their city water and sewage is dirt cheap compared to what I'm paying. In fact, right now I've kind of had the situation. I know some of it has to do with the fact that my son has some reason started taking really long showers, and he's at that age. I don't really want to know what he's doing in the shower, but I got to get him to cut his shower time down, because my bill has jumped $100 a month. And most people is going to go, $100 a month? Well, my bill is only $60-some every 3 months. Well, that's what most people are, but my bill was normally $125 a month. And it's not necessarily because I use a ton of water. I do use a good amount, having a family of 4 and 2 kids, a lot of laundry and stuff. But in comparison, anybody else in and around us that have city services pay considerably less money for that water. But it's because we have a private company. And literally, if I'm 2 streets over, I'd have been in Columbus. Not that I want to be 2 streets over. It's kind of an ugly neighborhood. But yeah, it's one of those strange things. But yeah, like I said, thank goodness, no more Columbus City tax. And like I said, I'll have to find the amended return. And all right, so I'm going to talk about the game room. I got a basic setup right now. It's not the way I want. It's not how I actually want it. I want to put a permanent shelf all the way across one wall, and then maybe have some tiered shelves above it for extra storage and books and things like that, and knickknacks and all that. And then on the other side, I'm going to put some bookcases, and I may even end up putting a TV over there, actually hook consoles up and stuff like that. But as of right now, like I said, it's kind of a mess because half my machines tore apart. Austin's machines tore apart because obviously I yanked these power supply. So I got stuff strung everywhere, and it's just driving me crazy right now. I may spend the next day or so trying to at least straighten it up a little bit. But I've got a thought in my head as far, like I said, as far how I want to lay it out, and we'll see kind of how that works out in the end. But I'll document how that goes. That's one of those fun things. It's just a matter of spending the right amount of money. But right now I'm trying not to spend too much money. So I've kind of been talking about going to the gym. I will be doing that here very soon. I've been sick the last few weeks. And it's kind of been this roller coaster. I get a little better, and then I don't, and then I get better, and I don't, blah, blah, blah. I've had a horrible cough that's just been kind of nagging. And like I said, it's kind of coming and going. Seems like every time I need to talk, like when I started this vlog, I started coughing. So, but I want to go to the gym. I am 225, 227 pounds. I'm only about 5'9", 5'10". I'm right in between somewhere there, depending on what pair of shoes I'm wearing. I've never been this heavy in my life. I have pictures that I pulled out recently and showed me skinny when I was 180, 190 pounds. I'd love to get back to that. Right now, I would love to drop 25 pounds. 25 pounds would be great. 15 pounds would be good. but that's, you know, right now my expectations are kind of low. I have no idea how much I will actually stick to it, but I'm going to go in here in the next couple of weeks, get my gym membership, and go ahead and start going, trying to go at least once a week, and put in a good workout. How long I go will really depend. I'm sure I'm way out of shape. Obviously, like I said, I have taken on quite a bit of weight, and I'm not real happy with it. One of the other things that I've recently had to deal with, and I've had somewhat discussions with my kids about the internet, but I really this week had to have a serious discussion about not putting stuff on the internet, not texting stuff to your friends, and you know, basically, you know, that when you put stuff on the internet, it's on the internet. It never goes away. Short of a nuclear apocalypse, and even then there's some debate about whether or not it would all go away, it's going to be out there forever, and it could come back to haunt you. And I knew that when I started getting into the whole YouTube thing and started doing vlogs and videos and things like that. But you know, kids don't quite understand that. In fact, my daughter apparently had posted about 10 videos or something, because we got her a Galaxy phone, so obviously I had to set up her Gmail account, blah blah blah, and she had posted some videos online. I had to go in and delete them. Now obviously they're never completely gone, but you know, because I kind of joked with her at one point about, you know, hey, maybe we want to let you create a YouTube channel, and apparently she went a little too far with that. I didn't really look at the videos. I didn't really care what the content was. I did not want her to be posting on the internet without it going through me first. That's my big thing. But I may let her create a YouTube channel. I may let her go ahead and post videos and do her thing. She's a cute kid. She's funny. I don't know what her content would necessarily be. It may just be her just jabbering away about school life, you know, and some people might find it interesting, some other people may not. But like I said, I haven't quite decided if I'm gonna let her do that or not. I think it might be an interesting way for her to jot down her thoughts and all that. And like I said, if I let her do it, once she creates the video, it's gonna have to go through me. I'll do, you know, some editing. I'll say yes or no about the content, whether or not I want that posted. But like I said, that's a discussion you gotta have with your kids these days. I wish I'd had a little more serious talk prior to things that have happened, but you know, you really should get, you know, as soon as your kids get the cell phone and get on the internet, that should be the discussion, you know, that you need to have. But you know, the pursuit of happiness. That's kind of my next topic. You know, this last week, Powerball got ridiculous this week. I've spent quite a bit of money, not crazy money, but you know, I've probably spent $20, $30 or so a drawing, pretty much the past week, since Powerball got big. But it got insanely big, $1.5 billion, which was like basically about $900 million in cash payout. Apparently 3 people hit it, or at least 3 different tickets, one in Tennessee, one in Florida, one in California. You know, people that don't normally play, and I only play when it's big, but I ran office pools before at my previous job, but we even did one here at work, so you know, we were jumping in on it, plus buying some of our own tickets. And you know, a lot of people's like, well, the chances are so low, and why would you do that? You know, it's not worth it. Well, if you don't play, you can never win. You know, yeah, the chances are low, but you know, they say that you have a better chance of being hit by lightning. Well, in my case, I have been hit by lightning once and almost hit by lightning a second time. And one particular instance, my brother can attest to this. We were in my car, sitting at a stoplight. All of a sudden, we saw this flash, and then, like, the radio kind of crackled, and the car kind of missed. And the car I was driving, that engine never missed. It was like butter. and we just, and the light turned green, and we just kind of stood there, like that. But the hair on my arm was all standing up because obviously I had my hand on the gear shift, and some guys roll up next to us like, dude, you all right? You just got hit by lightning. Sure enough, my car apparently had been struck by lightning. In another situation, I can't remember if this was before or after that particular car situation, but I was coming into school. I was running a little. I was late that day, and I had just got to the door, almost had grabbed the door handle for the school, and a crack of lightning hit the flagpole behind me. And somebody inside the building saw the crack of lightning behind me. If I had been 3, 4, 5 seconds earlier or later, I'd have been standing next to that pole when it got hit. And so to say, hey, your chances are better getting hit by lightning. Well, I've been hit almost pretty much twice. So yeah, like I said, I play when it's big, and we play for the possibility of having, what we consider a better life. Now, would it really create a better life? A lot of people say money don't bring happiness. I'm kind of somewhere in between. There's a certain level of income versus what you want out of life can sometimes be really cause whether or not you're kind of happy. But I would like to win that. Don't be wrong. I'd love to win that kind of money. I wouldn't have to actually win that kind of money. A few $1 million would dramatically improve our quality of life. But that kind of money, a lot of people's like, oh, I wouldn't quit working and da 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 da. I'm like, yeah, you sure as hell you would. I said, for one, if you were crazy enough not to stop working with, okay, look at it 3 ways. All 3 take money. It's $300 million. You're going to be about $150 million after tax, give or take. The first time your boss says something that pisses you off, you're going to quit. You're going to tell them to go F themselves, and that's pretty much it. You're not going to want to work. You're going to have no desire to come to work. And with that, you also have to think about, everybody's going to be coming after you wanting money. Charities, friends, family that you don't even know or remember. And, for me, I can tell you right now, I would disappear. No more YouTube, no more Facebook. And I've said this on my Facebook. I would disappear. I wouldn't own a home in my name. I wouldn't have any cars in my name. I would have the money collected under a trust, and I would disappear. And some people's like, oh, I wouldn't do this or I wouldn't do that. I'd be buying a couple of brand new cars. I would most certainly be buying a bigger home, a nicer home, probably custom built. Now, don't get me wrong. I wouldn't be buying $1 million home. I'm not stupid. Doesn't mean I wouldn't have $1 million in the home, but I wouldn't be buying $1 million home. Maybe $200,000, $300,000 home. Something reasonable. And a good portion of that money would be socked back, and just so basic interest, I could easily live off the interest. And I would set up certain family members, with trust funds. I have several nieces and nephews. I'd make sure their college is taken care of. I'd make sure that they couldn't get all the money at once, so they couldn't go and blow it. Wouldn't be a crazy amount of money, but it'd be enough to get their life started in the right direction. And I think when you talk about dreaming about a better life, sometimes that is the better life. Being able to pursue your dreams, to be able to, maybe my niece will decide she wants to be an actress, but she can't afford to go to acting school, or she can't afford to move to California. That kind of situation, creating that trust fund, would give her that opportunity to pursue what she wants to do, not pursue something she thinks she's going to really earn money at, just to get by. But sometimes, like I said, that is creating a better life for yourself. And I would, like I said, I would certainly create trust funds for them, and that money would be doled out under certain circumstances, And then once they reach a certain age, they'll, if, let's say they decide they don't want to go to college. Well, that money won't divvy out to them until they're 35. They turn 35, they'll start getting checks out of it. That way at that point, they've probably got a family, they probably have a house, at least I hope, and we'll have bills and debt and responsibilities, and we'll understand the value of money. That's kind of a lost concept, is the value of money, and too many people spend it. It's crazy to think that the people that win the lottery win big lotteries, and then 3-5 years down the road, sometimes even less than that, have absolutely nothing to show for it. No house, no car, no nothing. They lost all of it in bankruptcy. You shouldn't have to file bankruptcy unless you go in debt. If you're winning that kind of money, you should be debt free. That'd be the very first thing that would happen. My debts would go away. I have probably about $125,000 in debt. That would be gone. And that, for me, that's my first goal, is getting out of debt. I hate paying for a house that I really don't like. It's in a decent neighborhood, it's a decent house. But honestly, I could throw 35 grand at it and I'd still probably be $60,000 or $70,000 in the hole on it. I paid too much, and it really didn't have anything modern in it. It hadn't been remodeled in a while. So, that's one of those things that we all have to deal with. Unfortunately, like I said, I can't sell it. My only choice is to fix it and live in it and, try to get it paid off whenever I can. But yeah, I don't know, that's one of those things. Like I said, people make fun of people who play the lottery, and the people that spend crazy amount of, I came in, got like $6 or $10 worth of ticket, and the next guy behind me is like, give me $100 worth of tickets. I don't think I'd spend $100 worth of tickets. I don't think your chances are that much better paying. They are, but they're not that much better. But it's interesting to see people's reaction to, what they would do with the money, and and I see we've already seen 2 people who have come out and said, "Hey, here's our winning ticket," and they've been on the Today Show and blah blah blah. You're out of your fucking mind. I wouldn't be on TV. I sure as hell. And they're all like, "Well, nothing's really going to change," and they live in some backwater town in Tennessee, and I'm just like, you're insane. You're just absolutely fucking insane. But but money, in the same boat, money can not be necessarily a good thing, and people go crazy, and people lose longtime friends over money, and that's something that I would have to deal with. And like I said, that my response to that would be, get the fuck out, disappear. And just give my kids and my immediate family a little bit of a better chance at a better life. And that's all we can ever ask for. That's why we go to work every day. Not because we like this job, because most of us don't like our jobs, but because we have to earn a living to have the things that we need or want to pursue our happiness. And, speaking of the job thing, and it's been a bit of a frustrating week for me. But I'm at this point in my life where, and everybody says you get to this in your mid-30s where, if you're going to make a big career change, it's usually the time you're going to do it. And I'm kind of at that point where, and me and wife, I think, are both at this point where we're trying to decide, is this really what we want to do? Is this where we're going to continue? Is this really worth it? Whether or not this particular job is worth it, for me, this was a stepping stone in a certain respect. I didn't know if this was going to be a long-term job, and I'm becoming very aware that this probably will not be a long-term job. This will end up being something I'll work a few more years, and I'll either move on to another job like this that has a better opportunity for me, or I will pursue something different. And my recent interest in film and video, I kind of like to pursue that a little bit more. I'd love to go. There's actually a college that I found that's kind of close by, but that's going to require a little more work on my part. Something I won't discuss in this video, but I'll just say that'll be a little more work on my part to get into that. But the being able to learn how to edit to properly, edit video and take proper courses on all that, I think would be not only great for what I want to do on YouTube, but maybe even go and start doing it as a regular profession. I enjoy doing it. I just wish I knew more about how to do it. And I love movies. I love film. But it's also that situation of, can I make more? Can I ultimately earn more money doing something else, or should I stay where I'm at and just proceed to work my way up the ladder? And I make good money here, but the problem is that the incentives are short, and it's that procrastination of well, what happens when I want to move up, when I'm ready to make that next step, and whether or not there would be a position for me. That's one of the two reasons I left my last job. Is I had attempted on several occasions to take another position, to move up, to do other things, and I pretty much was told I'm too good at my job, and they didn't, they obviously didn't want to pay me any more money. They were paying people who were casual more money than I was making, so they were working less hours and bringing home more pay. And I was pretty much, and I was pretty much done. They wouldn't even let me have that job. So, and that's the thing you have to think about. And I talk about myself being a procrastinator, and my wife will tell you I am horrible about sometimes getting things done. And I wonder, would I be able to be my own boss? And I look at people like Philip DeFranco and Linus, and there's one thing that I can honestly say that I do not have that they do, and that is a drive. I have these spurts of drive where where I want to do something and I stick to it, and there's a certain point where I can't do it anymore. I'm done. I can't do it, and I don't know if I could be my own boss, and that's a question that I have flirted with for a while, because I thought about creating my own photography business or my own media business, which kind of goes into the whole maybe going to take colleges on how to learn and do video. And there's a lot of companies that would love to be able to have somebody local, and I won't say cheap, but probably cheaper than a commercial media company, to produce commercials, to produce their maybe something for their YouTube channel. And like I said, I'd kind of like to do that, but I want to see where this takes. And I don't think this is going to be like the year I'm going to do it. Barnacules and Jay's 2 Cents, both of those guys in the last year made that leap from a regular job into their, to a full-time YouTube. And Barnacules was kind of a, he got laid off type of situation with the whole Microsoft deal. And Jay just decided to make that leap. But both of them have had different struggles. And, Barnacules has had trouble having the desire, having that same problem with procrastination and dealing with his own personal issues of creating more videos. And Jay is just, figuring out the financial part of it. And even he says he's not that good at it. So that's a thing that I need to sit down and really look at, and maybe at some point I may make that leap, and I'd kind of like to. There are things, like I said, there are a lot of things I'd love to do. There are a lot of things I haven't done yet. So, but I think in this coming year, I highly doubt I'm going to get a vacation in. We actually have to start looking at having our furnace, because our central air, I talked about in a different vlog, went out. And to be honest, it's just too old to bother having anything repaired at this point. It just really needs to be replaced. And I've just dreaded paying out the kind of money that I know it typically costs to have that done. So that's just one of those things. I'm going to have to just bite the bullet and do it. That we're planning on using our income tax to make that happen, because I don't want to go any more debt than I have to. I really want to start paying off the debt. And we wanted to do that the last few years, but it's like every time we think, oh, this is going to be the year, we're going to pay off some debt, get in a little better shape. No, just something else pops us, from behind. So, So that's one of those things. But anyway, I think this is where I'm in the vlog. It's a little long. I do apologize, but I did have a lot I wanted to kind of get off my chest. Like I said, I had left the last one a little short because I wanted to kind of gather my thoughts and put together all the things that I wanted to talk about. So thank you for watching. I hope everybody has a great day, has a great week, and I will catch you later.